YouTube, what is up? We are back. It is week 8 of the NFL season. We have some picks for you, and we are coming off our best week of the year. We swept the board last week. Feds did a sweep, 2-0. Both picks were underdogs at plus 110 odds. So we had a great weekend. We'll get to this week's picks in just a second, but first, let me just kind of bring us up to date on what happened last week and where we're at for the season. So last week, our first play was a two-team parlay. We had the Rams money line. We had the Rams money line parlayed with the Patriots money line, and both those teams won blowout fashion, easy winners, and that was at plus 110 odds. So we won that. And our second bet, another belt-to-ass performance. We had the Colts money line at plus 110 odds, and they absolutely demolished the Chargers. Like I said, Colts are the best team in football. I also told you guys that I placed a futures bet on them to win the Super Bowl and win their division, all that kind of stuff. And they are just rolling. So we saw it in that Chargers game. That was a total sharp versus square game. Dumbass, I know on sports media that I want to be on the opposite side of. They love the Chargers that game. So it was perfect. And I'm glad we were on the right side. So perfect week. So 2-0, up 2.2 units. If I did that math right in my head. Up 2.2 units on that week. Let me look at my notes here and give you guys the totals now for where we're at for the season and for the year. So for the season, we're now at 5 wins, 4 losses. That's a 55% win rate, and we're up 2.49 units. So guys, if you notice anything here, it's that I'm super selective. I don't have a lot of plays. That's why we do better than everybody, because we don't have tons of plays. Because if you have tons of plays, you can put it to you like this. There's not that much value out there in the marketplace. So if you have tons of plays, that means you're betting on things that aren't profitable, okay? The reason we do better than probably anybody else you see on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, is because we're very selective. So all time since starting this account last year, we're at 41 wins, 25 losses. We're up 8.29 units, and we're hitting at a 62% clip. So humbly, good luck finding anybody else hitting at these numbers. I mean, maybe it exists out there, but I don't know. Like I always say, pro bettors strive to hit at 55%. Hit at a 55% win rate. We're hitting at 62% right now. We had a profitable year last year. We're now, after last week, we're starting to show the signs that we're on track to do that again this year. So all we can do is keep the momentum rolling and keep being very selective and do our best to find high probability spots and just try to give ourselves in a good position to do well this year, Like I always say, I can't control what's going to happen in these games. All I can do is find the highest probability situations, and then after that, it's up to these players to not fuck it up for us. So I'm going to do my best, like always, the rest of the year to put ourselves in good spots, and we'll see what the football gods do with it. But so far, everything we've been putting out there has been proven to have an edge. So hopefully our edge continues the rest of the year, and let's get into it for week 8 of the NFL season. Before we get into it, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel before you lose me in your algorithm forever. If this is your first time seeing me, and you're stuck tailing losers that are giving out 7 plays per game, 50 plays per week, whatever nonsense, 10-unit plays that destroy your bankroll. On this channel, we bet small and we bet pretty accurately. That's the only, if you actually take this seriously, as in you want to, I'm not saying you're going to get rich off this, but if you want to actually not lose money over the course of the season, I think I could say so far, based on the track record of this channel, we've done just about as good as anybody as putting you in a position to, have that level of success. So that's my 2-second pitch to you. Also, go follow me on Twitter at KarasFootball. I post everything earlier there because it's quicker to post a tweet than a YouTube video. So if you don't want to miss the line moves, go ahead and follow me there at KarasFootball or Nick KarasFootball. It's one or the other. I always forget. Anyways, let's get into this week's picks. All right, guys, so I'm going to be honest. I absolutely hate this slate. I'm not a fan of it at all. It was really hard for me to figure out how I wanted to play it, if there was even anything to play. And I went back and forth a lot. I almost didn't give anything out this week. I almost didn't. But I figured out a way to have some action. But here's how we have to do it. Because like I prefaced, I'm always looking out for you guys on this channel. Now, I don't charge you guys anything. Look, maybe one day I blow up and I'm able to. But right now, I'm just building this thing up for free. But my number one priority is always going to be looking out for you guys and not putting you guys in bad positions. So here's the deal. Here's how we're going to do it this week. Last week we had 2 plays, right? I already said, I'll say it one more time. Colts money line, and we had Patriots money line with Rams money line. All blowout winners, right? That wasn't that surprising to me because my numbers made all those games in the 60s of percents to win. Those were very, very high quality plays in my opinion. You know, I forget the exact numbers, but they were above 60% projected winners based on my numbers. So I was very, very confident. This week, the way the board is, there's nothing that I was able to find that has a good payout and there's also a 60+% type of winner. So here's how we're going to do this, okay? I do still believe we have an edge this week, but we have to play it smart. So we're going to have 2 plays, and instead of 1 unit each like last week, they're each going to be 0.5 units. So in total, you'll have a unit risk if you follow it how I play it. But it's going to be 0.5 units each, okay? So our first play is going to be a 2-team parlay. It's going to be Colts money line. Colts money line is going to be in both of our parlays. So for this first one, Colts money line, I don't need to spend too much time on this. Colts, I've been saying it, best team in the league by far. So far, by far. But I gave them, for example, I gave them out to win the division. I think they were minus 150, minus 160, 5 or 6 days ago before their last game. And since that week, the Colts are 1-0, Jaguars are 0-1, Texans are 0-1, Titans are 0-1. So the Colts, and since I tweeted that, 5, 6 days ago, the Colts go from I'm doing the odds off the top of my head. I think they were minus 160 to minus 350 or 360. So the point is, the odds are insane now. And if you miss the boat on them, you miss the boat. This offense is one of the best offenses so far statistically in history. Will they be able to keep this up? I have no idea. But all we can look at is the fact that they are playing at that clip, and we have to treat them as such at the moment until they show us otherwise. The Titans, on the other hand, are like doing the total opposite. They might be the worst offense we've ever seen. I mean, every week Cam Ward is good for a defensive touchdown, whether it's a pick six, a fumble six. He is just very careless with the football, and he's by far the worst quarterback in the league so far. So we're getting what should be the best team in football against what should be the worst team in football. I literally give the Colts like a 98% chance to win this game. So I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I literally think if they play 100 times, the Titans will be lucky to win twice. And the Titans are without Calvin Ridley and Jeffrey Simmons, which is huge. He's like the only competent player on that team, the only leader on that team. So this team mentally should have absolutely nothing going for them. If the Colts lose this game, I'll probably just off myself because this is like, I mean, they have to win this game. But we're going to use the Colts money line and both of these to just kind of make the odds of our, more so 50-50 plays nicer so we get a better payout. So that's kind of the thought process behind the Colts. All right, so our second leg of the parlay, we're going to be combining the Colts money line with Saints +4. Look, I'm not. This is why I said I don't love the slate. Like, our value this week is ugly. We're finding it in Saints +4. The Saints are not a team I'm excited to bet on, and you shouldn't be either. But this is if you guys remember 2 weeks ago, it's a little bit similar to them. And when I gave you guys Dolphins, I think it was +4 at home, and I was like, I know you guys don't want to bet on shitty Tua or weirdo Mike McDaniels. I get it. I didn't either. But sometimes the value is in the ugly. I'm not saying we blindly bet on the ugly. You don't see us every week just betting on shitty teams like the Raiders, the Jets, the Browns. That's not what we do here. But when there's value and we feel like the odds are decent, we just have to trust our numbers, even if it's not a game we're excited to watch or whatever the case is. So here with the Saints. The Buccaneers, look, I like Baker. Fun story, fun to watch. But the truth about the Bucs is there's only been one game this year that they have won by more than 3 points. They win a lot of close games. Their record could be a lot worse than it really is. I'm not saying they're a bad team or anything. I'm just saying they haven't been able to win by margin this year, aside from one game against the 49ers. And the Saints, to me, this is just kind of a buy low spot. Spencer Rattler hasn't been that bad this year until last week. Last week was probably his worst game of the season. And we're just going to kind of use this as a buy low spot And we're not expecting him to have 2 back-to-back worst games of the year. If he does, so be it. He got us. But we're expecting him to bounce back from that. They really haven't been that bad this year, despite their record. They have a pretty good roster. Their old line is really good. They have a lot of weapons. If Spencer Rattler can just not turn the ball over 4 times in a row, which is very unlikely for him to do again, or however many times he turned it over last week, they should have a decent chance in this game. Now, I'm not saying I think they're going to win the game. This is just strictly I see value, a significant value differential in the line. I make this line around Bucks -2. The fact that we're getting to go through some key numbers like 3, 3.5, and we're getting it all the way up to 4, that's just a little bit of value there that I feel like we have to take. On top of that, the Saints are very healthy, and the Bucks are beat up. Mike Evans, we saw him on Monday Night Football. He's now out for a while. Vita Vea, that's huge. We don't know if he's going to play or not. It's not confirmed that he's out, but he's questionable. I think at least 2 of the 3 days this week in practice, he didn't practice with a foot injury. So if he doesn't play, that's huge. Even if he does play, we're still okay with it. But if he doesn't play, well, that could definitely change the dynamic of this game. And they're just really beat up. They have a lot of guys that are playing hurt, and the Saints are healthy. And the Bucks are coming off a short week on Monday Night Football. So there's just a lot of little things to like here in the Saints' direction. And I'm not predicting the Saints to win the game, but I do think there is value in getting a +4. Like I said, this isn't like last week where we're hammering it for a unit because it's such a high win rate. This one's going to be closer to 55-ish% win rate in my opinion. So if you do the numbers on 55% win rate, we're getting +104 odds on this, by the way. I think I forgot to say +104. So if you do the math on +104 with a 55-ish% win rate, there's margin there. So we are going to make this our first play. Colts money line with Saints +4. 2-team parlay, 0.5 units. Remember, guys, not like last week. We're only doing half the unit size, 0.5 units, because the win rate isn't as high. Okay, second leg is going to be, second play is going to be another 2-team parlay. First leg, again, is going to be Colts money line. I already told you why I like the Colts and don't like the Titans. We're going to go Colts money line with Steelers money line. We're picking the dog to win this one outright. Look, I was kind of wondering if we're going to get a +3.5 in this game, and if I did, do we take the 3.5 or do we take the money line? Look, since we're only going half a unit here, we're going money line because I think this is going to be a very close game. I think this is close to coin flip odds. I actually have the Steelers slightly favored in my numbers in this game. Not by much, like -1.5. But still, worst case scenario, let's call that 50-50 odds. And we're getting a +140 on the Steelers money line. I remember if I said the money line earlier or not. But the Steelers are +140 money line. You combine the Steelers, since we're doing a parlay though, and we're doing Colts money line with Steelers money line, it's actually a +156 money line for this play because of the combined odds. Basically, we're turning our +140 odds with the Steelers into +156 by parlaying it with what I think is, a damn near guaranteed win by the Colts, 98% chance. So again, there's value in it, but like I'm saying, there's no guarantees in this. I'm saying this is basically coin flip odds on the Steelers game, but the payout odds are not coin flip. If it was true to what my numbers were, it would be, $100 bet or a $1 bet would pay you exactly what you put in, whatever it is. In this case, at +156 odds on this parlay, you're getting a lot more back than we're risking. So there's a lot of value in that sense. And that's kind of the goal this week is we have 2 plays up there for half the risk as we would normally do. And if just one of them wins, we have a profitable week. So again, we try to put ourselves in the sportsbooks' shoes that they like to be in, where if you go 1-1, they win. Again, this week, if we go 1-1, which is very likely with close to 50-50 odds on these games, at least there's a high percentage chance that we would at least kind of break even or make a few bucks. So I like to be in those kind of spots going into the week. As far as the game itself goes, sorry for taking so long to get there. Look, everybody's been high on the Packers this year since Micah Parsons has been in the headlines, and everybody's so scared of that defense. And I'm not saying they're a bad defense or anything. They're fine. They haven't been as elite as perceived, but they've been okay. The Steelers, on the other hand, I think this is just a really good spot for them. I'm not saying the Steelers are a better team than the Packers, but I think this spot is really, really good for Pittsburgh They're coming off Thursday Night Football where they got embarrassed. The defense, which is the highest paid defense in the league, got their ass kicked by the shitty Bengals. They got embarrassed, and everybody sold their Steelers stock. I think this is where the public overreacts, and they go, oh, we saw how bad the Steelers defense was. Josh Jacobs, Matt LaFleur, they're going to run it down Pittsburgh's throat. And I think this is where we go, oh, Pittsburgh's defense isn't that bad. I just think it's going to be one of those scenarios. You know, Tomlin's horrible on short weeks for whatever reason, but he's really good when he has a lot of time to prepare. And this is one of those weeks where he has a lot of time. And I think that defense full of a lot of veterans, highly paid guys. I think they're a prideful group and are going to watch the film last week and hear the narratives. And I think they're just going to play. They're going to come out ready to play and prepared because I think they're just pissed about how last game went. They're tired of hearing about it. And I expect a way improved defensive performance this week by the Steelers. And also Aaron Rodgers, I wrote him off. You know, even his last year in Green Bay wasn't great. Last year in the Jets wasn't great. But he looks way better this year. He finally got rid of that hack and Nathaniel Hackett. And he's with a real OC now in Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith has given him a great, framework to play around this year. And he looks like a totally different quarterback. They're doing a lot of heavy sets with 3 tight ends. And just the way they're getting rid of the ball quick. Overall, they are very, very efficient this year on offense. And I think it's being underlooked how good they've been. And I think you mix with the prime time, home field advantage, extra rest coming off Thursday, a prideful group being humiliated, Aaron Rodgers playing some of his best football as of recent. I think it's just a good mix for close to 50-50 odds of them winning a game against a good team. So, in my opinion, I have the Steelers. I made this line like Steelers minus 1.5. Again, I'll go ahead and say worst case scenario, 50-50 odds. At the plus money we're getting, there's margin in that. So we're going to go 0.5 units, 2-team parlay, Colts money line, Steelers money line for a plus 156 payout if it wins. And that's it. These are 2 separate plays, both 0.5 units each. We just need one of them to win to be in the black this week and continue our run of another great season. So we'll see what happens. Like always, I can't control the games. All I can do is the research and the homework to try to find the best opportunities, and I think that's what we did this week on a shitty slate. This is the best we could. Sometimes this is the best we can do. I wish every week I can give you guys the 70% winner, 60% winner. That's not always how it's going to go. Some weeks are going to be ugly like this, where we got to lower our unit size, protect ourselves, be safe, and just play the money line value. So expect a lower win rate, probability this week, but our margin is still there if some of these money line dogs come through. So it's a lot of time and effort to make these videos and do all the research throughout the week. So if you could just like the video, subscribe it, leave a comment, whatever, it would just mean a lot to me and help me to grow my channel. That's it, boys. Good luck this weekend. Let's get it. All right. Peace.